Dear Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear survivors, and dear relatives of the victims and dear friends. Today we are commemorating the victims sent from this place to the Nazi concentration camps. Today we are commemorating the time when barbarity won over humanity. We are paying a tribute to all these victims of genocide that did not fit into the pattern of National Socialism. Roma have lived in Europe more than 700 years. No other group of people except for European Jews have been subjected to such hatred and persecuted for centuries as the so-called Gypsies. The life of our people had been shaped by expulsion, persecution and discrimination. Yet, no persecution in all the countries and centuries compares to that of the systematically planned genocide of the Nazis. The endless suffering of our people, Jews, Roma and Sinti, began here 77 years ago. On May 16, 1940, Roma and Sinti families were rounded up and detained in the Hannoverscher Bahnhof railway station's Fruchtschuppen-See. On May 20th, they, as well as many hundreds of Roma and Sinti from other German cities, were deported to the Belzec concentration camp. Thus, on May 20, 1940, the systematic extermination of our people, known as Paraimos, began with the first deportation to the concentration camps in Poland. Hundreds of thousands of women, men and children fell victim to the race madness of the Nazis. Today, we wish to remember those who were sent to their deaths from this location and unveil the memorial that reminds us of our people's suffering. Unfortunately, tribute is often only anonymously paid to Holocaust victims in a bleak, artificial environment. Consideration is usually not taken that these memories are for us, the descendants of the victims, the gravestones of our relatives. That's not the case here in Hamburg. 30 years ago, on May 16, 1987, the Roma and Sinti Union held the first memorial service to commemorate the deportation of the victims from Hamburg, which led to more and more organizations, parties and the Hamburg Senate supporting the proposal to create a memorial at this location. You don't have to set out in special search to find this memorial. It is not located far away from the residents of the city. It's located right in the heart of their city. People live and work here. They will pass by memorial daily carrying out their errands on the way to the subway. They will read the names of the deported. They will see that real people with names and faces were sent to their death from here. In the future, school classes will experience the history of this site in the new documentation center. They will learn where racism and mistaken notion of nationalism can lead. The events of Paris and Brussels, the growing movement of Roma migration and asylum, search for asylum, and the recent anti-Israel stances in the United Nations are a proof of the frightening shortness of the historical memory of humanity. The slogan, "Never again," we've kept repeating for the past 70 years, has still not convinced everyone. Today, this ceremony reminds us of the past. But what about the future? The dark shadows of racism and nationalism are sweeping over Europe again. Are our European leaders committed enough to resist these attacks? Are they committed to ensure a Europe free from hatred and racism, where every individual, whatever is her ethnicity, color, religion, or way of life, lives in peace and freedom? We Roma know what it means to be rejected and treated as second-class citizens. We do not want it for ourselves, and we do not wish it to others. In April 2016, the European Roma and Travelers Forum, in cooperation with the Council of Europe, the Parliament of Romania, and the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, and the Finnish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, organized the Forgotten Voices Conference in Romania. This conference and its background work, the Forgotten Voices of Roma Holocaust Project, led to a production of a document called ERTF, European Roma and Travelers Forum, Guidelines of the Steps Toward Achieving Official Recognition of Anti-Gypsyism and Promoting Remembrance. These guidelines are serving as a basis for advocating for the recognition of Roma genocide and of anti-Gypsyism as a specific form of discrimination at European level. We believe that the official recognition of the genocide of the Roma, together with the establishment of an International Remembrance Day for the Roma victims, would be a step of utmost importance in combating anti-Gypsyism throughout Europe, as requested recently by the European Parliament in its resolution of. My condolences to all those groups and their family members who were sharing this suffering, thanks to the decision makers of Hamburg town, municipality for arranging this memorial ceremony and the memorial place. Allow me to say, because of my own family who was part of this genocide, I will share with you today the sadness, the pain of the loss, but also the right to remember. Dear Mayor, dear Mr. Kaczynski, dear Mr. Dainov, dear Mr. Rose, dear family Weiss, the European Roma and Travelers Forum would like to thank you for the excellent example of cooperation and mutual understanding. May this site be a place of remembrance and admonition to our people. Thank you.